Well done. Chase! Come on, wake up, Chase! That's it, wake up. What? You're alive! You're alive! Huh? How? Where? What? What happened? I thought I'd lost you. Cassie? Darling, thank God. Welcome back to the land of the living, Lieutenant. That's a whole carton of smokes you owe me, Cruz. What? Yeah, whatever. Didn't think the Lieutenant was gonna be this tough. Guess you're full of surprises, huh, Craft? What's going on? Am I dreaming? Is this like some fever dream? Me and Cruz had a bet on whether you were gonna make it after we popped your cockpit hatch and found you slumped over the controls. He figured you use all your luck up. Not me, though, Lieutenant. I knew you wouldn't let something like that take you out. You've been showing you've got serious guts recently. That's obviously not what he's asking about. As Cassie and the ensign squabble, you try to marshal your thoughts and memories. Everything feels disconnected, jumbled. Simply thinking feels like trying to find something in a dark room with no gravity. I remember going out to save you. There was this rip in space or something. I went into it and you saved me. That's what happens. You sit up and place your face in your hands, massaging your temples with your thumbs to try to get rid of the feeling that your thoughts might fall out at any moment. I think you mean that I saved you? You're welcome, by the way. I saw you charge head first into one of those weird glowing things. Didn't know what was gonna be in there, but knew you wouldn't survive if I left you to it. It's like a good crewmate. I went in after and dragged you and Quinn back out. Brought you here. You'd do the same for me, right? You reach out and grab the nearby railing, pulling yourself up to your feet. As you do, the sensation of your head being flooded with thoughts and memories intensifies. You steady yourself, but keeping your focus feels like trying to carry a glass full of water that's been filled to the brim without spilling any. Wasn't this... Take it slow, honey. Don't rush. Sure ready to be up and about, Lieutenant? Yeah, I'm fine. You push away from where you were stood, but trip, falling unceremoniously to the catwalk and slamming your forearms and knees onto the walkway. Chase, are you okay? Alright, only so much of this I can watch. Go on, Quinn, I'll grab Craft. Let's get him up to the mess hall. Maybe coffee will sort him out? Right, thanks. Hansen comes over to you and brings your arms up over his shoulders, hoisting you up without much delicacy. As you head towards the hangar's exit, Cassie follows close behind you, her hand resting tenderly on the small of your back. Once you're near the stairs, you move away from Hansen and begin to make your way up towards the four-side thoroughfare, each step becoming easier as you will yourself to walk unsupported. Cassie, what's happening on the ship? With Lord and... Hey Chase, let's talk more walking. We'll fill you in later. Don't worry about that right now, honey. You look around the four-side thoroughfare and see everything looking shockingly normal. You didn't know what you were expecting to be out of the ordinary, but seeing the thoroughfare as it had always been, it's the same liminal peacefulness soundtracked by the gentle hum of the ship's systems, made you feel reassured. Maybe it wouldn't be so hard for things to go back to how they were. It takes you longer than usual, but Cassie follows patiently behind you until you reach the mess hall. Alright, take a seat, you two. I'll grab some coffee. You sit down, still woozy, as Hansen orders 2 coffees from the vendmate. Cassie sits beside you, gently rubbing your back as you try to get your head to stop spinning. There you go. Take it easy and drink up. I'm sure Captain Bartimeus has a lot of questions for you. Captain Bartimeus? But what about... there you are, Lieutenant Commander Quinn, Lieutenant Craft. Ma'am! Ma'am! At ease, you two. But, Captain, what are you doing here? What about the ensigns? What about Lord? Lord? Ah, yes, Lieutenant Lord's little dalliance with command. Thanks, Chief Cathays, that's been dealt with. The Chief? Something I can help you with, Lieutenants? Captain Barney said that you dealt with Lieutenant Lord? I resent being made to sound like an issue on the daily maintenance log, thank you very much. Lord? You sprang to your feet, your head snapping between the two ensigns, trying to see who'd make a move first. What are you? Honestly, Lieutenant, don't make this so awkward. I'm here to... Come on now, Lieutenant, let's hear you say it. Apologize. It seems that based on what happened in the Forsyth Thoroughfare, your actions out in space, when I was told by the crew, I made a mistake. So I thought I'd apologize. Sorry, Captain, Lieutenant Quinn, everyone. Oh, that's okay. I didn't even realize anything was going on. I've been so zonked on painkillers, I've slept through almost everything. What's been going on? Well done, Lieutenant Lord. That was very big of you. So then, I'm sure we can all agree to put this matter behind us. Put this behind us? That sensation of being lost in a shoal of your own thoughts returns, and you can barely grasp the situation. Was that it? After everything had happened, Vanessa apologizes. The captain agrees to move on? Really? You're right, Lieutenant Craft. You're not looking very well. Captain, just what is going on? This is also... I think you should calm down, Lieutenant. Whatever happened to you out in space seems to still be having something of an effect. Yeah, this is too good. This is too good. I must be like hallucinating this or something, right? You could probably do with eating something. No, there's an idea. But we'll sit down for a meal together as a crew. Chief Cathays, gather everyone up, would you? I'm on it, ma'am! Alright then, who's first? Loud noise like the combination of a growl and a gurgle fills the room, causing everyone to look towards Cassie. Well, it has been a while since I ate anything. Any chance of a burger? Of course, Commander. Followed up by your favorite, a pineapple salad. Unless I'm mistaken. Oh wow, I didn't know you knew. That's perfect, Captain, thanks. I never thought you'd see the captain happily begin ordering meals for the crew from the vendmate, but she does just that, listening to Cassie's instructions on her burger preferences. You slowly slide back into your chair, cautiously eyeing the two ensigns and Vanessa. There's no way she wasn't planning something. This had to all be... Hey, Lieutenant, good to see ya. Oh, Dylan, hey. Pretty crazy watching you go toe-to-toe with that thing out there. About almost as well as Hanson. No way. I mean, not bad for an amateur, but the Lieutenant's got nothing on me. Lieutenant Craft, Commander Quinn, you're safe! I'm sorry that you guys, that thing looked tough. Huh, thanks, Cadet, but you had nothing to worry about. My hero, Chase, was there to save me. There we are, Commander. Thanks, Captain! With the noise of the entire crew's chatter filling the mess hall, you find it hard to think. Your thoughts remain difficult to line up, instead flowing like mercury. As you watch Cassie raise the burger to her mouth, a memory does bubble to the surface. Wait, Cassie, you can't! Huh? What do you mean? Your stomach, remember that the doctor said... There's nothing to worry about, Lieutenant Craft. I made a mistake in my diagnosis. The synthetic food is not the issue. But you're dead. You're dead. I saw your corpse. Captain Rosarian, thank you for joining us. I'm... The doctor! You once again bolt out of your seat in shock. Is there a problem, Lieutenant? You were dead! I saw you! We saw you! You can't be here! I understand. No one else on this ship is a qualified physician, Lieutenants. Therefore, no one is qualified to assess if I was really deceased.
Fortunately, the injury was not as severe as had been assumed. But Hey, come on, Lieutenant, you're killing the mood! Doc's fine, wouldn't be up and walking about if he wasn't, right?
Yeah, take it easy, Craft. Are you feeling okay, honey? You wanna go to the sick bay for a lie down?
Yeah, honey, do you wanna have a little nap?
Be quiet, Ensign Cruz.
Your mind is a maelstrom at this point. Everything feels wrong. Yeah. It's all happening. It's all right in front of you. New World Program. Sorta.
How can you argue with that? Come on, honey, have some fries.
You shake your head at the offer, placing your head back in your hands. Cassie starts rubbing your back again, although quickly begins eating her fries with her spare hand. You know what it actually reminds me of? It reminds me of the line in The Matrix, where I think it's Agent Smith that says it, where it's like, oh, this isn't the first Matrix. We had multiple like prototypes, but they were too good. They were perfect utopias, and the human mind couldn't accept it, so you broke free. And I wonder if that's what kind of what's going on here. Like, everything's too good, and that's what's gonna break me out of this. The crew eventually starts to chatter amongst themselves, again, whilst Captain Mayers takes orders and retrieves meals from the vendmates, serving them with a level of cheerfulness that continues to leave you disquieted.
There, I believe that's everyone. Before I get started with my meal, Commander, I was hoping you could help me out with one thing.
Oh, sure, Captain, what's up?
Ship's emergency input codes, are they generated and adjusted regularly, or is it specifically prior to departure?
Why would she ask that?
Come on, Captain, you know that. You're the one that sets them, after all.
No, you are.
Well, it's initially prior to departure, then every 5 days, or per enemy encounter. Whichever comes first. Of course, thank you, Commander. No problem. Hence the captain asked Quinn. Yes, Vanessa? At what distance do we typically start transmitting our security clearance prior to announcing we intend to dock at a colony?
Oh no, oh no. They're extracting info! We're in a simulation, they're extracting info! What are these questions?
Oh, that's, specific. I mean, and
once we've been cleared for approach, is our docking confirmations going to be specific to the ship, or does it depend on a combination of factors?
Hey, you're just a cadet. I don't think you need to know that. What's the makeup of the Europa Garrison Force? Guys, I'd really like to finish my burger now, if you don't mind.
What's the target time for a colony defense force's mobilization?
Well,
you look up to see the whole crew staring at Cassandra. Look up malevolent intent in their eyes. Does the JUCF implement a series of local data stores, or is it translated across a large-scale network?
Guys, what frequency are emergency requests transmitted on?
What are you asking this for?
Guys! How extensive are the JCF's nuclear capabilities?
Leave her alone!
Guys!
Voice 1.
Another failure. Which incompetent calibrated this engram harvester? It's not subtle enough. We've been having difficulty with ensuring that the harvesting process is suitably. I don't care what you're having difficulties with. Rewrite the program to be more congruent with the query context, then run it again.
Understood.
We've had enough time to develop this. These failure rates are inexcusable. We've got these gather clones, neural pathways mapped out. This should be simple. It's bad enough that Unit Zero's jump drive malfunctioned. Are you telling me we can't even get the information out of a gather reliably? Well, she'll keep for the time being. At least we'll have some time to finesse the systems before we start receiving more.
What about the other one?
The other what?
The other sample. One the hunter we captured alongside this gather.
Oh, him. I'd hoped that having him in the simulations with the gather might help, since they seem to have some sort of relationship. Unfortunately, since his DNA isn't compatible with Mother AI, we can't run a specific engram harvester.
Shouldn't we have to run a linear review in real time?
If you want to waste your time, be my guest.
Hopefully going through recent events again from his perspective could uncover some more information.
You're certainly welcome to try.
If you do find anything pertinent, notify me immediately.
Understood. Oh, one more thing. Do we have the output of the engram harvest we carried out on the additional subject?
Confirmed. It's been archived.
Under which digital lobe?
It's in the default mode network.
Node?
Oh, I'm gonna write that down. Hold up. Seems like a write things down sort of game. That works. Okay. 8 8 7 0 9 0 8 5 1. Colons might be important, but they do just do like every third thing. Okay. To reclaim what is the right of the people in their name and her honor, we do want okay. Hello? Oh, wait a minute. What the heck? These interactable? Oh, is this my... Is this demonstrating the kind of pathway I took through the game, maybe? Like my decision tree? Perhaps? Okay, now what? Life support system, link control systems, external. Compatibility. Identified. Central match rate 99%. Oh, okay, there's an X there. I guess I've got this all on film if I need to reference it. Huh.
Excellent. Send me that reference. It might be useful for review later. Now run this one again. Once you've started her engram harvest, you can do the same with others.
Understood. Oh. What?
Why did I have so many Cassies? May 6th, Planetary Calendar 214.
Europa Colony, 1. Jovian Colony Fleet 2nd Military Court. Now that we're all here, we can begin. As was decided yesterday, this is to be the final day of the inquiry into the events that happened on board the JFS Gun-Dog between April 24th and April 28th. Our findings today will dictate the JCF's future actions around the matter, as well as what is to be done with the ship's crew. Guards, please bring Miss Mary's Bartomuse to the stand. Welcome back, Miss Bartomuse.
It's my pleasure, Admiral.
Now, Miss Bartomuse, we've gone over everything that happened on board the Gun-Dog following its departure from this colony on April 19th up until the 24th. The last task of this inquiry is to find out what happened following Miss Lord's adjustments to the command structure up until your return to Europa 1. I trust we'll have your full cooperation in this matter.
Hasn't that already been demonstrated?
A yes or no, Miss Bartomuse?
Yes, Commodore.
Thank you. Now, we're aware of the effort made by Lieutenant Kraft to counter Miss Lord's mutiny. How did he go about this?
Didn't think the lieutenant had him in him, if I'm being honest. Getting everyone to the bridge, calling out Lord to her face in front of the crew like that. Took some real guts.
What did calling out at Miss Lord involve? It was actually kind of funny. Lieutenant was just telling everyone how full of crap Lord was, how she locked up Quinn and Bartomuse without a good reason. Anything Lord came back with, he just shot it down. It'd be funnier figuring her out didn't mean that I'd get put up against the wall for treason instead, but what are you gonna do? And the lieutenant managed to convince the entire crew that Miss Lord had been wrong. Pretty much, yeah. And then what happened?
As soon as I put in the call for backup, Lieutenant Kraft came charging out of the elevator doors. Wasn't much help, though. Just freaked out when he saw Commander Quinn with whoever it was. Tried to get me to stop firing, but if I didn't keep them pinned down, they'd have gotten away for sure. Thought we'd be able to do something when Hansen turned up, but the lieutenant knocked him down and then ran after whoever it was.
So after the exchange of fire, the lieutenant chased the attacker into the hangar.
You got it?
Why wasn't this infiltrator apprehended by security? It's not like we just let her go. Lieutenant screwed everything up, got in our way before we could take that woman down. Even tagged me to stop from firing on them. The lieutenant gave them a chance, they picked up Quinn and went for the hangar. After the lieutenant and this attacker entered the hangar, they both launched in separate crafts, is that right? Yeah, that's right. Why were they allowed to launch?
It wasn't my fault. I did everything I could to stop them from launching, but none of my controls were responding. I must have hacked the system to override my authority or something. It's the only explanation. Or they did it ahead of time. There's no way I could have known.
Even if you had lost control of the systems, we were under the impression that the hostile craft had been secured. Was this or was this not the case?
Well, the thing is that,
Cadet Grange, can you answer the question? Why hadn't the craft been secured?
That craft had been secured. Until it managed to break out. I had to bet my life that nothing could get through Cadet Grange's compound. The stuff was almost impenetrable. I'd be surprised if the team working on the Gun-Dog right now has got anywhere near removing the cargo crates that were stuck in it. That stuff didn't stop. There was nothing else on the ship that could have.
So the enemy craft was able to escape the restraining compound and leave the ship after the hangar controls were overridden. We can understand how it may have been difficult to do anything about that in the moment. But how was Lieutenant Kraft allowed to board and launch a Juno?
Hey, there was no way we could know that Lieutenant was going to go and do something like that. Cruz was trying to get him to leave the hangar before it totally depressurized. Then out of nowhere, he jumped. Cruz tried to grab him, but the lieutenant was gone before he got anywhere near. Surprised the lieutenant didn't just get sucked into space, pulling a crazy stunt like that.
And what happened after the lieutenant made his way into space? I mean, I was able to track him in that weird thing after they launched, but moving so fast and so close together, I couldn't get a look on either of them. Lord was ordering me to take them both out, but before I could line anything up, Cruz was out there and the Gun-Dog won. Do you know who gave Cruz permission to launch? Hey, no one gave me permission to launch. But do you think I'm just gonna hang around and watch an amateur like Lieutenant Kraft get torn to pieces because he can't pilot worth a damn? No way! Kraft showed some guts and I wasn't gonna let him die after he finally grew a spine. I went out there to give the Lieutenant a little bit of help. So the two of you were able to defeat the enemy craft together.
Of course Cruz was able to take it out. What do you think we dragged back into our hangar for you guys? Might be in a few paces, but those tech nerds love a challenge, right?
But the Lieutenant didn't return with you. Why not?
Because he disappeared, that's why not. He sold out his friend and used them to cover his escape. Lieutenant and Quinn are probably off plotting against us right now.
We're not here for speculation, Miss Lord. We're here for facts.
You're confident?
You're confident they disappeared?
They didn't disappear. Our records show that shortly after retrieving Lieutenant Commander Quinn, they were preparing to return to the Gun-Dog when another enemy craft appeared. Gun-Dog 1 was still busy with the original craft, and with a damaged unit, the Lieutenant was in no position to fight back.
They definitely didn't disappear. It looked like a boson jump, if you ask me. A what? A boson jump, Commodore. If you think about how our HFDD works by warping the space around the ship to allow it to move significant distances, then a boson jump does something similar but connects two unique points in space, letting a craft move directly from one point to another. Theoretical, of course. The energy requirement alone would... Alright, thank you, Chief Engineer Cathaeus. But if you were able to detect indications of a space warp, even if it was non-standard, why did the Gun-Dog not head out in pursuit?
Well, see, that's when the power went out again. It was like what happened on the 23rd with the Gun-Dog and the O'Brien. If we'd been any closer, the electromagnetic pulse would have overloaded our key systems and we'd have all been fried.
So the ship was immobilized. What did you do then? Guess I was lucky holding onto that trash machine. Must have shielded me or something. Once Lieutenant disappeared into that freaky light show, I dragged the wreckage back to the Gun-Dog. We got the power back online, then slunk back here, tail between our legs. Who ordered the return to Europa 1? Miss Lord? Ha! No, that was Captain Bartomeu's doing. What happened to Miss Lord's assumed command?
Turns out that when everyone was busy with what was happening outside the ship, Cadet Grange slipped away and let the captain out of her quarters. She went up to the bridge, slapped Lord around a bit. The two were stuck up there when the power went off again. Can't have been fun for Lord. The cadet told me later that she even dragged Lord down to her quarters and locked her in there herself. Glad she didn't find me first, you know. After that, she rounded everyone up and told us we could either come back under her command or the chief would throw us out of the airlock then and there. Didn't really seem like much of a choice.
And Miss Lord? What happened to her after that?
It was an abuse of power, plain and simple. I wasn't given the opportunity to state my case. There was no hearing. I was immediately confined to quarters. As soon as the inquiry is over, I want to open a grievance against Miss Myers-Bartomeu's.
Thank you, Miss Lord, but at the moment, we just want to know if you're aware of what happened after you were confined.
I'm sure you must have all the information you need from that from the ship's logs, Commodore. For the benefit of the inquiry, Miss
Bartomeu's.
From that point on, the Gun-Dog's journey back to Europa 1 was uneventful and everything occurred as expected. We returned to the colony, immediately notified command of the craft in our hangar. I submitted my report on the events that had taken place since our departure. And here we are.
Thank you, Miss Bartomeu's. The inquiry will be adjourning whilst we go over our findings. We will be notified as soon as we come to an agreement on our verdict. Guards, please escort Miss Bartomeu's back to the holding cell. With the exception of some spurious accusations from Miss Lord, it seems that the crew are all giving relatively consistent testimonies. What do you think, Admiral? Losing someone like Cassandra Quinn is a catastrophe. She was only a lieutenant commander, but she's worked on a multitude of different ships, bases, and installations. In terms of her institutional and process knowledge, if she was interrogated, there's no saying just how much the enemy would be able to learn from her. They'd already have done that. We've been getting reports of attacks in various frontier outposts with similar patterns to what happened on the Gun-Dog. Loss of power, sudden illness amongst the command structure, attackers appearing out of nowhere. The list of officers we've lost is already too long. Female officers. Captain? Just something I noticed, Admiral. All the officers missing are women. Whatever is going on, we can't let it continue. I guess we could just, like, ban women from the force. Not to be sexist or anything, but, like, you know. It seems appropriate given the circumstances. The inquiry into the events aboard the JFS Gun-Dog will now reconvene. Guards, please bring in Miss Bartholomews. Welcome back, Miss Bartholomews. It's once again a pleasure. It's once again a pleasure, Admiral. We'll be brief. After reviewing the testimonies of you and your crew that served under you, as well as the ship's logs and recordings, we have come to our conclusion regarding your futures within the JCF. Miss Bartholomews, I'm sure you understand the severity of the claims that have been leveled against you, as well as the punishment for losing command of your vessel. However, as our investigation to Miss Lord's actions is still ongoing, that means that it is necessary for us to fully review the actions you have taken in more detail. For now, you will be placed under house arrest for the duration of the investigation. Of course. With regards to Hansen crews, for participating in a mutiny, you should be dishonorably discharged and facing a minimum of 10 years in prison. However, due to your performance in combat and experience with these new enemy machines, you'll be serving as a pilot in a new task force. This role is non-negotiable. In addition, you will be kept under supervision, and your time as part of the task force is in lieu of time served. This will also be the case for Haru Rumney. I won't see me complaining. As for Chief Engineer Mackenzie Cathays, you'll be transferred to the JFS Silvestris, where you will act as its Chief Engineer. The Silvestris will serve as the flagship of a new task force. Because of this, we are removing Cadet Dalton Grange from your instruction. Oh, but... Instead, Cadet Grange will be transferred to the JCF R&D department, where you will receive appropriate support to develop your new compound into a viable weapon. Thank you, ma'am. That's great. That's... Moving on to Warrant Officer Dylan Dees. We have reviewed your request and have decided that it is in the JCF's best interest to give you an honorable discharge from the fleet. Good call, ma'am. Your stipend and freedom are of course dependent on you ensuring that you do not disclose any information on what happened. Consider the matter highly classified. Don't worry about that, ma'am. Not planning on thinking about this anytime soon. As for Miss Lord, typically a mutiny against your commanding officer would result in your execution. But I didn't hold evidences. Quiet, please, Miss Lord. However, we do understand that due to the rapid development and confusing nature of events, it did appear that the crew of the ship could have been involved in a conspiracy. Had that been confirmed as the case, you would have followed the appropriate protocol by removing Captain Bartholomews from command. Given this, the inquiry has decided to be lenient. You will instead be placed under house arrest pending further investigation. Understood. Thank you, ma'am. Oh, I almost forgot. Dr. Cypher Rosario. Due to his death in the line of duty, he will be given a posthumous 2-rank promotion. As we have been unable to contact any next of kin, the doctor will receive a public service before his ashes are spread in the Europa Military Memorial Gardens. This judgment hereby concludes the inquiry into the events that happened on board the JFS Gun-Dog between April 24th and April 28th. All decisions are effective immediately. You are... One question before I leave, ma'am. Bartholomews, go ahead. What is the plan regarding Lieutenant Craft and Lieutenant Commander Quinn? I can assure you, Captain, finding those two is a top priority for us. I see. Thank you, Captain. As I was saying, You are dismissed. Oh, well then. That has been Stories from Seoul, the Gun-Dog. That was a fun experience. Lots of twists and turns in that tale. I'm curious if this number, if we can do anything with that. Like, could we like access something in like the menus or something. As for like, and obviously our ending here is like at best a little bittersweet. Like we didn't, well, and we did kind of lose Cassie. We just also lost ourselves too. Imprisoned by these strange like aliens or whatever. There's like a whole load of Cassies out in, like, I don't know, like there's still a lot of questions that are, we've got like some implied answers but nothing concrete. Sequel dates? Yeah, I guess to an extent. I'm not sure what their plans are regarding kind of the future of this series, but I guess I'd be curious to see where things end up. Well, based on that little like map of the possible like routes to the game, it seems there's like kind of one other ending, which I assume is the ending if you don't try to rescue Cassie at the very end there. Not sure what if that's gonna be any better, and obviously you probably lose Cassie. And I guess I probably get court-martialed too with everyone else, so like, I don't know, maybe there really isn't a good ending to this? Which is fine. That's a valid choice in storytelling. Yeah, it's a gritty war story. It's like, I think we probably got about as good an ending as you can. I don't know. It's not my intention to go back through and like play again and see like what the other endings are though. So at least not on stream. So if you're curious how things could have gone otherwise, then you know, buy the game yourself, I guess. But yeah, that was fun. Nice, relatively quick game. What was it, like 12 hours? So yeah, that's a nice sweet spot. Not like overly long to where it drags, but you know, I do think you're still like getting a meaty tale, getting your money's worth. And like 12 hours, I mean, that would be that's kind of equivalent length to like an audiobook, you know? But yeah. Pretty good though, pretty good. I'll be curious to see what this developer does next. I think they had a very kind of fun hybrid here between, it was almost like a hybrid between like a point-and-click adventure and a visual novel. And I think they used the resources quite well. I mean, having it all take place in just the one ship, very economic in terms of the kind of resources for, you know, making backgrounds and stuff. And makes sense thematically too, right? But yeah. Guess we're just kind of waiting here to see if there's anything post-credits. I mean, this is definitely the sort of game where there could definitely be like some sort of scene after the credits of like, ooh, what's going on with me being captured or something. And alright, thank you for playing. See you again on the Gun-Dog soon. Okay, so I guess they're planning on a sequel. Okay. So back on the main menu. I'm curious if we go into options here. Extras. So those are like our memories, characters, engrams. Oh, I see. Gotcha. So it like save. Okay, so that like saves like a route code, I guess. Oh, you know why? You know why that's a thing? That's for the sequel, isn't it? The idea is when they make a sequel, probably first thing that's going to come up is type in your engram from the first game. And then that's how it remembers what exactly happened in the previous game. That's why this exists. I see. Okay. Alright, well then. I guess I'll keep an eye out. I wouldn't necessarily expect the next game in the series to come out, like, soon or anything. But when it does come out, I enjoyed this thoroughly, so we definitely might be giving it a look. Definitely might be. Yeah, that's great phrasing.